Hello everybody, my name is Aaron and today I'm going to show you how to turn any PC into a DD-WRT router. Let's do it. So things you're going to need: a PC to turn into the router, which is this guy right here. Let's take a second and talk about the PC you're going to be needing in order to run this image. You need at least somewhere around 100 megabytes of RAM. Okay, this is 1 gig stick in here. I did a bunch of testing and there's graphs and everything that show in the software about how much RAM you need, and you don't pass like 100 megs. So I think it's around 72 or something like that. Anyways, it's always good to have more than what you need. So there's a gig DDR3 in here. You really want as high a frequency CPU as you possibly can get. I think in the Pro or full version, you get multiple core usage. And I think in the community version, you can only use 1 core at a time. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong about that, because then that means that you get more use. This is a 2.8, but get as high a frequency as you can, because the higher the frequency, the more throughput it's going to be able to do. We have our imaged hard drive. I have not tried it with a USB stick before. I've had troubles imaging using a USB anything, so I'm not sure if it's going to work. So this is a hard drive spin up. You can use an SSD. I just didn't want to waste an SSD on this, because during boot it only references this once, loads everything to the RAM, and then you don't use the hard drive anymore. You absolutely 100% need 2 Ethernet connectors. So we got one up here and we got one down there. In out doesn't matter, but you need an in and an out. That's a tricky part, because not every Ethernet driver is going to be installed in this image. Find an Ethernet connector, make sure the driver works. Okay, so plug it in, boot it up, make sure it works. Gigabit is preferable. You can use 100 megabit if you have to. This is a computer running Windows with access to the SATA ports, a hard drive to run in your PC DD-WRT router, and then we need the software. So the question is, why do you need this whole computer to blow an image to that drive? Why can't I just use a docking port and run it on my laptop? Because the program we're using to image the drive does not support USB setups. Also, you'll want to delete any Windows partitions or any partitions that are on the drive you're going to be blowing an image to, because the program we're using is very low level and all it does is write. And all it's going to do is try and erase a drive. Now, if we go directly to the SATA ports here, we don't have any problems. As soon as we start using USB and the drivers and the bus ports and everything don't line up correctly with the software, we're not going to get it to image anything. Trust me, I've spent hours trying to troubleshoot. Don't use a USB anything. If you've got 2 drive ports in your laptop, plug it into the second drive port, you're good to go. Make sure we're plugging directly into motherboards, no interfaces at all. So this is our Windows system running that small laptop hard drive that I just showed you. To prep it, go to Control Panel, put everything to Small, Administrative Tools, Computer Management, which opens this window right here. Go down to Disk Management, and it will load this area. Now this one at the bottom here is your C drive. As you can see, it says C. This up here is that second hard drive. It's blank, but if there's partitions here, delete them by right-clicking Delete. You do not want Windows partitions on this thing. They'll get erased, but it could cause problems trying to blow the DD-WRT image onto the hard drive. So now that your hard drive is ready, we're going to go over to DD-WRT.com, or click on Support, and you're going to go to Other Downloads. Now we want to go to Betas, find the most current year. It's 2018 right now, but this is obviously going to be updated and changed as the days go on. Find the most current date, which is at the bottom here, and then we scroll down almost to the bottom until we find x86. x86 is what they called it for the PC image, and we have a 64-bit motherboard we're going to install this on, so we're going to go x86 64. It'll bring you to this screen right here. You can pay for a license key and get the full version, which gives you Wi-Fi and a few other capabilities. We're going to go for the public, and we're going to go to .image. So public VGA.image. Click that, and it's going to download for you. It's only 75 megs. So the public web upgrade VGA is an upgrade you can do if you already have an active DD-WRT PC router running. So you don't have to re-blow an image. You can just download that and then go to the administrative tab and upload the new firmware. Now that we've got it downloaded, we're going to go to our C drive, make a new folder, call it the letter A, and drag and drop the image we downloaded into it. And we're going to rename it the letter A. I'm doing that for simplicity later on when we start doing command line commands. You will need this piece of software, physical disk write. The link is in the description, and we're going to get started. So to get started here, we're going to go to run. This is Windows 7. It's an older OS at this point, but not run, sorry. We're going to go CMD or PowerShell. But either way, you need to do it with elevated permissions. So right click, run as administrator. So there's our window, and we're going to blow that image onto our hard drive. Now our hard drive doesn't have to be very big. That image is only 75 megs. So the hard drive can be as little as 100 megs. The one I'm using is 200 gigabytes. So I put in a change directory command, cd space C:/A. That's going to land us into this folder that we named the letter A in the C drive. As you can see on the next line, we've successfully made it into this folder, which means that we can now interact with programs in this folder. So we're going to take the name of that program, physical disk write.exe space -u and then a.image. So that's the command we're going to do. That's going to run that physical disk write program and ask it to blow an image. Hit enter. So now it's asking us to select what drive we want to blow the image to. Read very carefully which drive is which, because if you screw it up, it will overwrite your operating system and it will trash your computer. So disk 0 on this one looks kind of weird, and that's because the hard drive I'm using is actually from a Mac, so it's not really labeled properly. This one shows the model number, which is an Evo 250, which is the C drive OS hard drive on this system. So I'm going for drive 0. Double check, make sure that you're erasing the correct drive. Drive 0 it is. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, yes I am. And now it's writing. And it's done. That's it. That's all you have to do on the computer side of it. So we can plug this drive into two penguins at the top. Means I have 2 CPUs, and it's loading everything in the background here. And that's it. That's what it looks like when it's done. We're on this little laptop. We're going to configure everything via this laptop. So it's asking me what kind of connection it is. I'm just going to say it's work. Now we want to head over to our network and sharing center because we have to static our IP address so that it matches the default IP address of the DD-WRT. So change adapter settings, properties. So the DD-WRT boots up on 192.168.1.1. So we want to go somewhere around that range. 1.3 is fine. 1. Anything really between 0 and or between 2 and 254 is fine. Then we just want to do the subnet mask. Don't do a default gateway because that's going to try and route us out somewhere and it's not going to work. So only those two. Hit close. We want to go to the browser. Now we'll want to type 192.168. There it is. It's almost like I've done this before. That's just cached. That's not, we're not on the internet. So this is our first time logging in. Congratulations, you're hitting your new router PC. It wants you to put in your own username and password to secure it. So after you change your username and password, you're going to go to setup. There's a basic setup. We want to enable WAN connection. Now you can static it, you can DHCP. It depends on what kind of service you're getting from your internet service provider. DHCP is probably the easiest. If you're not paying for a business internet connection, then you're probably going to go DHCP. We're going to head all the way down to the bottom here, hit apply settings. Now that's going to light up the NIC card. So it may have actually applied the WAN to the card that we're on right now, the NIC card that we're plugged into. So we might have to swap NIC cards. Let's just try and log in here again. Nope, it's not working. So we're going to have to swap the cables. So we just enabled this to be our WAN. So I'm going to swap it because yellow is my WAN. There we go. Now let's give it a try again. We're back in. So the WAN IP is still showing up as 0000 at the top. So let's go over to, I believe it's status WAN, and I just got one. Okay, so this is all behind a network right now, so I'm not actually talking to the outside world, but my WAN outside world address is this one, 10.200, and my gateway is this one, okay? DNS, but all of that is now on my DD-WRT PC router. Once you have configured your WAN, you want to head down to the network setup. I jumped ahead and put in these settings, but your gateway will be blank and your DNS will be blank. I just put my router IP into both. If you don't, then you won't be able to hit the internet. And then you just scroll down to the bottom and hit apply. So a lot of people like setting up VPNs, just super easy to do. Services VPN. I'm going to go with PPTP here. We're going to go DNS is this box. Oops, I forgot the 68168. Okay, and our server IP, this is very important. We want the server IP to be different from this PC DD-WRT router. So this one's 1.1. I put the server IP to 1.2. This is a virtual server-ish, so to speak, that the PPTP relies on to send information through. So now we need to do an address range for clients coming in. So I went 10 through 20, which is fine. And down here is our chat secrets. This space, that's the username, space, asterisk, space, this is the password, space, asterisk. If you don't put it like that, it's not gonna work. So let's go all the way down and save it. Apply settings, sweet deal. Now I'm going to go over to my other computer, which is sitting on the WAN, and I'm going to remote in, and we're going to transfer a file. After you have set up your VPN, you want to head on over to administration, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and hit reboot router. It's going to take a minute to do, but if you don't do that, you won't be able to connect any VPNs. So I'm going to get ready to prep this laptop to receive a massive file for my VPN setup. So I'm going to go back into here and put everything back to DHCP because the DD-WRT should be pumping out DHCP. Let's have a look. Just doing ipconfig, and yeah, it is. It gave me a 1.112. So let's go on to our VPN. So I'm setting up a VPN client on a Windows 10 machine. You go to PC settings, then you head on over to network and internet. Then on the left, we go to VPN. I've already set up the network, but you just go add connection. This one I'm just going to advanced options. I'm going to show you what I did. So the connection name is test. The server address is 10.200, which is our WAN on our DD-WRT. VPN type is PPTP. Username is test. Password is test. Save. Go down to the bottom corner. Test. Connect. So our VPN is connected right there. I ran a CMD prompt to test for DNS, and I can ping Google, so we're good there. On the left is this PC, on the right is the laptop that we were working on. I'm going to transfer via PPTP over to the laptop. And let's take a look at the speeds we're getting. 10 megabit, 11 megabit. Give it a second so it can catch up. We're going to head over to the laptop and look at the system resources being used on the DD-WRT PC. We are over at the laptop. It is currently being served up a file from our other PC over PPTP. I'm simply on the settings tab, the status tab. Scrolling down, let's take a look at what kind of CPU usage we're getting. Apparently our CPU clock is stuck at 1.2 gigahertz. We're only using 6% according to this. Here's our RAM usage. It looks like it's 64 megs, and our total is 1 gig. So we're doing pretty good. I'm not sure why our clock speed is so low, but we're not maxing it out, so it doesn't really matter at this point. There you have it. Building a DD-WRT router, setting it up, setting up a PPTP VPN, and cranking files at around 10 through 12 megabytes per second, which is, what, 80 times 8, so 80 megabits per second. That's fairly impressive. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, there'll be links in the description for everything, including hardware to purchase if you want to. Leave your questions in the comment section. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer them all. I just stumbled upon this, found that nobody put out a video or any information on how to actually do this, so that's why I'm doing it now. I don't have all the answers. I'm just an IT guy. See you guys next time. Ciao.